It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy B-Gunz here on the Green Rush Nation podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He's a cannabis pioneer. He's the owner of Buds of Anarchy, our friend, Marco Antonio Barrios.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We appreciate you coming out, brother.
Thank you for having me,
Of course.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
I know it's raining today, and people in LA don't know how to drive, so how was your travels in?
Oh, it was good. You know, people in LA ain't from LA.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? When you're from here, you know.
I'm not from here.
Okay, there you go. You see what I'm saying? People from LA ain't from LA. So
That's true.
I'm born and raised, bro. It's actually, since we talking about weed, the rain was what allowed us to hotbox comfortably.
There you go.
The rain is what hid us from the cops from where I'm from.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for the rain, we wouldn't feel as comfortable to smoke.
True.
Yeah, I mean, because we always knew that as long as it was raining, the likelihood of getting pulled over in the car wasn't as high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it doesn't rain often.
And if it rains, you get it smoggy in the car, you know, anywhere from breath and shit. So we had a lot of reasons why the rain was almost like our disguise.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Even to go hit the little bushes and hit the little alleyways or between the buildings, well, however the hell you was smoking, the rain was your mask. You knew nobody was gonna just hop out to go look around for shit.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So
see, I didn't even look at it like that.
You know what I mean? Real ones. That's how. Yeah.
Definitely. It just rained so much in New York that like we were just so used to it that it wasn't like, you know, I guess we were always had our cloak, you know?
Yeah, we had our sunny days majority, you know?
Exactly.
So when rain came, it was like, okay, potheads, like we
time to shine.
Time to shine. You feel me?
I love it. But yeah, I remember having our spots too, man. We had a spot called Narnia.
Oh, that's hard.
It was in the middle of nowhere. That's why we called it Narnia.
That's hard.
We would just post up. It was in front of someone's house, but I guess it was just so wooded in that area that their house was like a football field away. Mm-hmm. So we felt comfortable. You know, it was dark. We would roll up. But one day they came out, and that was it. That was it for Narnia.
Narnia was done. Yeah, they discovered Narnia.
They did.
Yeah, that's it. No utopia is done. What part of New York?
Born and raised in Queens, but I moved out to Long Island in high school.
Okay, bet. I got family in Far Rock and Flatbush.
Okay, hell yeah. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn and Queens.
And Queens.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn and Queens. You know my fam out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Very familiar with the areas.
Yes.
So here on the Green Rush Nation podcast, it is about cannabis, but we want to know more about cannabis. We want to know about your journey. And you've been doing this for a long time. So before cannabis, what were you doing and how did it kind of lead into this life?
Okay. Well, excuse me.
You good?
Before cannabis, it was always cannabis because I started cannabis at 12.
Okay.
Smoking. That's just what we did. I'm from Burbank, California. You know what I'm saying? I'm Panamanian and Colombian. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in Panama from 5 months old until I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And then I came back to the United States. I was born here, came back to the United States at 5 years old. And then that's where I did my thing. But I was always in Panama every year for summer break until I started playing football at the age of 14.
Okay.
But I was always smoking at the age of 12. That's just what we did.
That's pretty young.
Yeah. But at 15, I just discovered sales, to be honest. So I've been doing this for a very long time. Like, I'm very passionate about this because almost like Tupac put in the rhyme a long time ago when he put and even though I sold rocks, it felt good putting money in the mailbox.
Yeah.
For people like me, I rewrote a verse a long time ago saying, well, even though I sold pot, it felt good putting money in the mailbox. It was the first thing I discovered that allowed me to make myself an independent person.
Absolutely.
Like, meaning like pay my bills, help my mom in the house, help my mom with bills. Like, I started at 15. You know, I've been driving since I was 15, had my own cars at 15. I've been running around the valley since I was 15.
God bless.
Going to strip clubs at 16 with fake IDs on Penrose and fucking San Fernando and anywhere you name it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been moving since I was 15, bro.
Wow.
Like, I ain't new to this. I've been really grinding, you know? I'm the only child, so like I ain't have no big brothers, no sisters, no nobody. Mom's is always gone, so I had to just discover shit on my own, and I've been very adventurous.
Absolutely.
I'm just one of them cats that's just always been like, I just got to see the world for myself because ain't nobody else gonna show me.
I feel like that's the best way.
You know what I mean? Like, I had nobody. Yeah, I had nobody to really like show me, so I had to just jump in. You can either be fearful and be like, oh, I'm just gonna play it safe. Far from that. I had to do it all. My life, I had to live it like a movie. Yeah. If I saw something in the movies, I either had to do it after watching the movie or I had to do it before the movie.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Life always felt like a movie, though.
Life always felt like a movie because you see shit on movie. You're like, oh, what does it feel like to go into an environment like that where some shit like that could really go down?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They do say that your life really does begin on the other side of your comfort zone.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know, you get out there and you break it and you don't know what can happen. Good things, great things.
You don't know. But yeah, it started early because 12 was smoking, 15, you know, my block was one of those blocks. I lived on Angelino and Burbank off of like Angelino and Victory.
Okay.
Not too far from Olive Park for those that know Burbank or whatever. But I reference a lot of shit, the music and shit, and just things in general. But you know how they say you could take the boy out the hood, you can't take the hood out the homeboy.
Mm-hmm.
But in every place, no matter how nice places were back in the day, whether it was Santa Monica, whether it was Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, Burbank, no matter where you were, there was always a block. That's why we do things by zip codes out here. It ain't so much the city, it's the zip code.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like if that zip code is fucked up, that zip code is fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I happen to just come from a zip code where even though my community was nice, and it was still a nice block, but it just happened to be everybody on that block was up to some shit.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up on a block where everybody was doing, my neighbor across the street was chopping cars.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the neighbor over here was selling Valium and Vicodin. You know what I mean? Like I just came from a block that the minute you come out, somebody got some criminal activity going on. So you're just like, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh shit, what you doing?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just became very transactional. Everybody needed something somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, coming from Panama and being Panamanian and Colombian, if you know that background, then you know where we come from in those regions.
Yeah.
So I had to make a choice. You know what I mean? I had to make a choice of two worlds that are very easy and common to me. You know what I mean? And I chose the one that I felt was represented me the best. And I chose the one that felt like just I wasn't harming people and I wouldn't be harmed as much.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the route I went, you know, but it was in my blood no matter what. I was going one way or the other, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I grew up with Colombian, so I'm
Yeah,
familiar.
I mean, I was going white or green.
Yeah,
you feel
it's
me?
true.
It's straight up, but I had to say I'm going green. You feel me? But white was always there, so I was like, I'm going white or green, and that's what made me choose it. And playing sports, I just used it, and just back in the day, it wasn't, you know, there was no industry, so that's when you asked me when I first walked in, and you're like, oh, you know, like what were you doing prior? It's you're doing everything. Cannabis was just part of the journey. Now, cannabis is the journey for some people. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like some people like start their life in cannabis and they think like that's life. Some of us lived life and cannabis was part of our journey.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
no, for sure.
Like
That's
whether,
me. That's me, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of us are old enough for that. You know, for if you're not that old, then I guess maybe not. But, you know, I'm not like that young. So for me, it was all that, you know, whether it was I worked at Suncoast Motion Pictures in high school. That was with Sam Goodies and merged to become Best Buy. You know what I mean? Like, though, that's why there is a Best Buy. Because Sam
crazy.
Goodies and Suncoast Motion Pictures. Suncoast was the movie licensing and Sam Goodies was the music licensing. So they merged those two and then the Best Buy became Best Buy, right? So it's like, I've done it all. I've worked microdermabrasion with cosmetics for 8 years of my life. I was a manager and a talent manager for a spring break company traveling the world called Student City and Grad City.
Okay.
I mean, bro, you name it. Back then, having an occupation and having other things to do was the way you sold your weed.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't have a network and you don't go do other shit, that's the difference between people and weed now. Everybody's so like, I'm a weed guy. I'm a weed person rather than just be a motherfucking person and go do some shit.
Yeah.
And if weed follows, it follows. You feel me? But for some of us, I got to live life and do things and weed came along with it.
I was just about to say,
You know what I'm saying?
I met more people just by going places and then like looking for weed or smoking weed and finding someone else that smokes weed. And then like, it's been a connector for me more than anything in my life.
It has been a huge connector.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that's how I discovered it. That's why I liked it, because it's been a connector that way around the world. Because even when I would travel, I'd be in Bahamas, I'd be in Cancun, I'd be in Puerto Vallarta, I'd be in Punta Cana, wherever the hell we're doing our spring break events, because we went to all the spring break destinations. Wherever we would be, weed would be there with me or something, you know, some edibles and stuff. And it was just cool and fascinating for people back in 2005 and 2004 to see somebody traveling with a bag full of edibles and
I
shit.
couldn't even imagine.
You understand what I'm saying? And we're popping up to the Atlantis and we're partying and doing it. And here you go, bro. I've been living.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I've been living good. And just enjoying life. But focusing on this has just been my thing. But again, why? Is because it's what made me independent. I come from friends that were trust fund babies. I come from friends that just were a little bit more business savvy, so they started it younger, doing other things. I just discovered weed, and it's just what put money in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know, it's what allowed me to put myself in places where other people who maybe came from something or just made other decisions in life were at. There's nowhere you could eat. There's nowhere you could travel. There's nowhere you could go that I couldn't be at. And whether I had more than you or not, I could still be there. And I was there on my own dime.
Yeah.
So that pride and that always made me move my way because I could do everything on my own dime. So it's what made me discover being able to do everything on my own dime. Now, have I diversified since then and things? Yes. You know, lucky with great relationships, great friends, mentorships, and interests and other things. But in reality, that's really what it was. It was just knowing that, oh, I can eat here. Oh, I could travel here. Oh, I could wear this. Oh, I could pay that bill. Oh, my mama. That's all it was.
It's a good feeling.
You feel me? Like, that's all it needed to be. And I saw where this was going, so I felt like just stick with it because it's not a bad thing.
Definitely.
You know? Because just to also start you off, I started with Prop 36.
Okay.
So I was selling weed at a very early age. I got involved selling, but when I got roped up at the age of 20, there was a law that was coming out. It was Prop 36. Man, rest in peace, my lawyer, Jay Glazier from Long Beach. Dope ass dude. Prop 36 helped some of us a lot because it was the first time they created a law to reduce sales to usage.
Okay.
So I got very lucky at that time that I was given Prop 36. But during that time, a lot of people were falling off. And like he mentioned earlier, the different time periods and stuff, like 2003. There's really moments in this industry of things that went down, especially laws that went down.
So why don't you start in 2003? How was the industry then? That was when you said you started, right?
Yes, I started in 2003 in the stores and retails.
Okay.
Back then, I'm gonna keep it funky because I'm from the Valley, so I got to keep it funky. I don't know how anybody else saw shit, but I'm gonna just say how I saw shit. Back then, it was cool. I loved it back then. You almost just knew. I don't know. There was It was from the streets, right? So when you went to stores back then, it was like going to a tattoo parlor, especially in the Valley, right? Because it's mainly my Hispanic homies and stuff.
Okay.
So when you go into the stores back then, it was mainly the Hispanic homies. People don't know that. People don't know that there was a huge period where it was actually the Hispanic gangs that had the stores.
Interesting.
Because who had the weight?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then once they got eradicated, you know, because it was gang injunction, just people came after the gangs because they knew they were the ones running shit. Then you start seeing my other homies coming in a little stronger and harder and smarter. Yes. And you know which homies I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But in the beginning, that's what it was like. So, but it was interesting because you'd walk in and they were respectful. Like it was, I felt like, you know, I just have to say this. I felt like back then, even today, I felt like the fact that it transitioned from the streets, like that rule and law was stronger than today. Today, business people in cannabis can hide behind laws so they could screw you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Back
but it was
then,
more cut and dry.
Cut and dry.
Yeah, okay.
Cut and dry, bro. Cut and dry. You know, so it made a lot of us a lot more strict. It made a lot of us know our consequences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There will be a consequence.
There will be a consequence.
Yeah.
We live in a time where there's no consequence. Even if there's no collections agency.
It's true.
There's nothing that really scares anybody to do anything.
Because at the end of the day,
you know what I mean?
Are you going to ruin your business for something like that? Probably not.
Probably
and
not.
They know that.
And they know that. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody's on paper now. There's, you know, it's not like people were hidden and you didn't know who really owned it or who did what. Yeah. So obviously it's more like obvious. But that's something that I struggle with is seeing at least, like if you're going to do somebody wrong back then, like you really had some balls.
Yeah.
You know, like you had like major intentions.
You're ready for war.
You're ready for war, basically. Mm-hmm. Now you screw everybody over because you can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In a cowardly fashion.
In a very cowardly fashion and in a professional fashion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I would say. But yeah, I started early, bro. I just never really gave up on it. I would follow the laws. I'd pay attention to what was coming, who was doing what. Like I said, when Prop 36 came out, that's when I went to Venice Beach afterwards, and many of my other friends were like, "Oh, you know what? This is 2003. I'm gonna get out the game." And I said, "Man, you know what? I can't, because the things that was taking care of me.
Yeah.
Went to Venice Beach, and that's when I saw the people with the little, almost like when you go to Vegas back in the day, and you would see the Hispanic homies, with the business cards, flap it around. Like for the prostitutes and stuff. And they slap it. So you heard the same thing walking down Venice, that slap. I'm like, what's that? And I grabbed one of them cards, and I was like, oh shit, marijuana license. And that's when I went to go get my MMJ license.
Okay.
And then that's what just made me feel secure, because again, I was blessed enough to have my mom have good relationships. She works with Secretary of State. She was one of the managers, so she had a really good relationship with like state people and
question
lawyers.
though, that was a license like for your own operation?
No, the MMJ. I'm glad you asked. The MMJ license, man, till today is still like so important, and people overlook that license.
Okay.
It's still so important because for people like me, having that MMJ license. So let me flip it to today and what it's really meant for. Today, when people hear MMJ, they strictly think about saving money. So when you think of an MMJ rec, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go into a store and I'm gonna save some money, you know, and you're really saving like pennies on a dollar, right? And that's what people get fascinated. They go, oh, okay, that's what it's for. That's why it doesn't get pushed as much. And some people, when they finally use it, they don't get as excited when they're at a checkout, because they're like, what the hell? I thought I was gonna save more money.
Yeah.
But that's not the whole point. The whole point of MMJ has and will always be the fact that it allowed you to carry more marijuana on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It allowed you to carry more weight. It allowed you to grow a certain amount of plants, especially when you used to use it as a collective, and you had a license, you had a license, you had a license, you had a license, and I would hang it in my grow.
Absolutely.
It allowed me a certain amount of plants. So what it was more for those of us who were actually in the mix. Those of us who had the rec, you knew you were actually probably doing something, because
so
it wasn't
just your
so
med
much.
card, basically.
It was just your med card.
Okay.
But people take that med card as consumers. Like, that med card to most people is being a consumer and shopping.
Yeah.
When in reality, that med card was always for the distributor before there was distribution. That was distribution.
So,
because that's what allowed me to travel with a certain amount of weight in my vehicle and not get arrested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And back in the day, if I'm correct, you needed one to shop.
You needed one to shop. Yes. And you needed one to get into a store. Okay. Absolutely.
So what was it like, okay, you saw the guy flicking it, and what was the process like to go get yours? Because I got one too.
Yeah.
But I got mine in like 2017, so I got scammed. So I just want to hear what your story was like.
Mine, I just went right upstairs. Once I got the card, the dude was right there, because it's Venice Beach, and Venice was very popular for that. So I just went right upstairs. You went in there. You saw a doctor, you know. They ask you a bunch of questions. I think I told them at that time I had hemorrhoids or something, because they give you so many damn things on that list.
Yeah.
And you're like, I got to pick something. And there's a lot of shit. Yeah. I could be anything.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking hemorrhoids. Dog, what you got? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
When you walk back MMJ, like, dog, chronic pain. Anything's chronic pain. I told them or whatever. Yeah. So, but I just like, you know what, hemorrhoid, dog. And they gave me my shit.
There you go.
And then I was going to even bring my cards, because I found some that I kind of try to collect since those days.
Okay.
Just to be like, yo, bro, look at all the evolution of the
wish I had mine. If I lost it.
Yeah, I still have a few. Just because, you know, I always knew, like, it's nice to save some of this stuff as memorabilia or whatever. Definitely. You know, but yeah, it was an easy process, man, getting that stuff. But for me, again, it was important to shop. Yeah. But it was also way more important for people like us who were actually moving weight.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, like the shopping thing was cool, but that's not really what it was. It like the main purpose.
Yeah. For me, it was.
Yeah.
Because at that time I'm from New York, so we were just out here for like the weekend or the week.
Yeah.
And we needed to get a med card to go into these shops.
Yeah.
So we went down to Venice Beach, same shit. And we went by, like, oh shit, med card, get your med card here. So me and my boy go up. We're like, all right, cool. We sit down. They're like, all right, yeah. So same thing. What do you have? And I'm just like, oh, you know, anxiety, whatever.
Yeah, we all got that.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, great, here, approved. And then that was it. But then, like, so to get you in the door, it was like, oh, $40.
Yeah.
$40 for your med card. I'm like, oh, sick. Like, that's not too bad. So we sit down, we give them the $40. Then they sit down, they tell you, okay, you're approved. Now, if you want the med card, it's $150. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah, you got, they
like,
did you
bro,
wrong. They did you wrong. They did you, especially in 2017.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I was paying $300.
Crazy.
In 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. For a while, it was like $200 to $300.
Yeah. And then, since there was like 7 of us, I was like, all right, why don't 2 of us just get it? And then, like, now we don't waste our fucking money, you know, because now you're gonna lose the $40 whether you decide to get your thing or not, just for the evaluation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck it. So 2 of us ended up getting it, and we ended up just getting everything for everyone the whole trip.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Do you have one now?
I don't have one now.
Because I just renewed mine for $53.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'll hit you up.
I'll never not have one. I'll never not have an MMJ rec because I just know the reason why it was created.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, a lot of people overlook little things like that. You know, they think. A matter of fact, to go to retail, Steve asked me earlier. One of the important things, retailers, and even shoppers, right? This is a mistake that retailers make. There's a large demographic that retailers are missing out on, and that's 18 to 20.
Medical.
Yeah, period. You know, and the fact that you don't push the MMJ rec, that's also a major reason why you ain't getting that money.
Yeah.
You feel me? I've been in many places where when we educate people, I've stopped fools on the block that are sad that they can't shop.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, how old are you? 19? They're like, bro, if you really, at that time it was $25. The connection I had, I was like, bro, if you just shoot 25, bro, I'll get your iPad, do this, boom, 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 and get you up in here and you can shop, homie. And tell all your friends you could do the same shit. There ain't no reason why you can't be buying no weed, bro, just because you're 19.
Yeah.
You feel me?
They're gonna get it anyway.
Most these stores ain't doing none of that.
Yeah.
But that's because they're not proactive. Stores aren't proactive. Everybody feels like money needs to just come. People don't feel like they need to educate.
Yeah.
The more you educate, the worst that can happen is that you educate somebody and they use that information to go do business or go bring their business somewhere else.
Yeah.
But education brings loyalty.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because then they can smell the bullshit when they go other places.
Yeah.
So when fools start talking, you go, nah, I'd rather go to my dog because he already told me this some bullshit.
Yeah.
He already showed me what mold looked like. He already showed me this. He told me how to get my rec to even come in here to go shop.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
And that's love.
Absolutely. So
love.
stores in general just are not proactive. You go to these stores, they're not proactive. They don't greet. They don't do nothing that standard retail businesses would do.
Yeah.
And back in the day, I remember I worked for Guess or some shit for like a day or whatever. But either way, you're in the front and hey, how you? Welcome. Come on in. Like none of that. No one's interactive. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why everything's so robotic. But to go back to that, the MMJ rec is important for your retailers and important for the youth to know that. You don't have to not buy weed. And then with tobacco fucking y'all over, with the mind my language or whatever, but with tobacco screwing y'all over, going up to 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Y'all are screwed.
Yep.
You can only get weed at 21. You can only get tobacco at 21.
And they're going to get it anyway.
And they're going to get it anyways, right?
Yep.
So get the weed. And that's another thing, retailers. Take advantage of the fact that the youth already has a 2-year break of not being able to comfortably buy tobacco. That means that you could win them over with weed within those 2 years.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
And keep them off tobacco.
And keep them off tobacco,
Absolutely.
right? So like if we're a little more strategic and a little bit more proactive, we do those things. And I know certain individuals and certain entities that are doing what I'm saying, and they're winning.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're capturing the entire demographic.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's smart. I didn't even look at it that way. Like you just opened up my eyes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure. You got fools out here, bro, that need weed. And that was the difference between some of us back in the day, is that you understood and you respected, and then people don't want to respect their little $5 buyers.
Yeah. You got to,
bro. That $5 turns into $50 at the end of the day. Exactly. If you just don't mind that he came in 10 times.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you just don't mind that old boy came in 10 times and spent $5 10 times, you got $50 out of him.
Yeah.
Because he can't get $50 all at once. Because each time he came, he got $5 to piece up with another dude.
Yeah.
And then he kicked it with another dude that day. Because usually when fools are spending that type of money, they're homie hopping.
Yeah.
And every time they hop to another homie, they piece together another little bit of dollar and they go get weed again.
Yeah.
So they did that shit 10 times today.
God
and you
bless.
get 20 homies like that, your numbers go up. The problem is we got an ego. The industry got an ego. See, I come from the days where everything counts. Yeah. Everything counts. I don't give a shit, bro. Everything counts. Now we try to act like certain things don't count.
It's true.
That's why we don't try to accommodate to a lot of the smaller buyers.
Yeah.
It's the smarter retailers, and we know some, and I know you know some, that they don't play that game. Everybody, there's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't want to go into a rant, but go ahead. You got another question because I got all kinds of shit to say. So
yeah, no worries. So we got a little bit farther down in the journey. Now, where did the industry start to like change a little bit for you?
I would say probably in 2000 and I would say in 2014.
Okay.
Because prior to that, it was just a whack-a-mole game, right? Where you'd get raided. Some of us would be raided. We'd be shut down. But then we'd always pop back up.
Yeah.
Like there was like only the quitters quit. You know what I mean?
The people that were really in
it. Yeah, because at that time, it was very easy. If one person took a fall, it's easy to just put it under somebody else. And let that fool take a fall and put it under somebody else. Yeah. And if you have a large conglomerate, the shit keeps going and going and going. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't really change to 14 because that's when they really started cracking down and getting ready for like 19. You know what I mean? So that's why the Vista stores and stuff that did really well. They did really well right before recreational when they got to take advantage of 2016, 17, and 18. Mm-hmm. The 2016 and 18 3-year gap made San Diego money real good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like super good. And out here we're already fading away, getting ready for 19. Yeah. Like the crackdowns were already happening. Because they're like the Valley already started cracking down and fools that never wanted to do business in LA were forced to. You know what I'm saying? Like cats that would never, ever go to South Central LA started to because that's the only place where licensings were allowed again. So that's when like shifts started to happen. Prior to that, though, it was just a whack-a-mole game. It was the same game. Yep. We open up, we do our thing, whatever. You build your store, you get your clients. Best thing we would do is just make sure you have that contact list and you made sure. And you try to always open up near your contact list. Yeah. So if we're already in North Hollywood, we try to get another area in North Hollywood. Yep. So that way when we announce that we're back up, everybody comes. Yeah. But that's just what the game continued to be for a very long time. Pop-ups. That's just what it was. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then the major change was 2019. Okay. But then the other change was right after COVID. Like there's been a lot of different changes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because 2019, if you were a pre-ICO, we got to win. Because nobody else is open but a pre-ICO. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So pre-ICOs, if they did their thing, that's when you met me as well with California Cannabis. We were super winning. Yeah. We're doing, I don't like saying our numbers and stuff, but we're definitely seeing, our 20s and up.
Those times were good.
Yeah. Because there wasn't too many people to capture that. Yeah. Even with the trap stores or whatever, the pre-ICOs, with the right strategy, we're able to really win. Good. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I was able to introduce a lot of brands to the newer retail side of things,
So that's a big thing you did as well. You helped a lot of retailers open and get into their own spots, huh?
Yes. Okay. That's what I've been doing my entire life. Beautiful. That's really what it was. It's just it starts with knowledge of product and pricing and people. Yeah. Those 3 P's. Product, pricing, people. Product, pricing, people. Product, pricing, people. That's all that mattered. Yeah. Once you knew those 3, it's just brick and mortar, dude. Cameras here, security system here, that type of door, you do that shit anywhere you go. Yeah. Fucking liquor store or goddamn anywhere, right? Yep. That's just the foundation. Yeah. But the real shit is product, people, pricing. If you don't know your product, you don't know shit. Yeah. If you don't know how to price it, you ain't gonna get your money. Yep. And if you don't know people, who you gonna sell it to? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So without those 3, nothing else fucking mattered, dude. Yeah. You feel me? It's always been about product, but whatever, bro. Because let's do the mag locks here. Let's do the 5,000. Like it's just, it's everything else is whatever.
It's all copy and paste.
It's all copy and paste. Yeah. But knowing product pricing and people, that was always what was the most important.
I like that. The 3 P's.
Yeah. Product pricing and people. Right there. Yeah. Because that's when I would go to the stores. That's basically all it was. Like there was no. For me, there was no crazy formula. Yeah. I would just know if you're buying this pound at this much, you break it down for this. Little things that unless you sold weed, you didn't know. Yeah. I don't care how much of a mathematician you were or whatever. If you don't know certain things, you don't know certain things. I just was selling weed since I was 12 and 15. Like, you know what I mean? Like 15 selling, 12 using. So I just knew that. I knew what grams cost. I knew this. Just because you had the stores didn't mean you actually knew that. Didn't even mean you actually had the connections to go get it. Yeah. It just meant that you had a little bit more savvy to know that the city was handing out maybe this license and you could do this and maybe you had more capital and you could open up the place. But it doesn't mean you knew anything. Yeah. Even today, most owners don't know nothing. Yeah. That's why they're failing.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? It's like just because you can own something doesn't mean you know something.
So do you think there's a lack of education in the industry right now?
Majorly.
Okay.
Majorly.
So we need to educate the people.
Majorly lack of education. And lack of education and people trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
This wheel's already been in existence.
Yep.
Everybody trying to reinvent it. Even when the metric system and having to do everything by cases, 32 a case. Back in the days, 112 grams, man. Like I had to readjust to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
In 2019 is when my whole metrics of cannabis had to change. Because for many years, nobody ever spoke about it. From 42, fucking 15, you do the math. All them years, nobody and my mama ever said, let me get a case of 32. Let me get a case of 128. Let me get 4 cases. The fuck is that? We get a pound, 448. We learned 454 is the real shit. Okay. But 448 still get away with it. But that's all that fucking mattered. 448, 112, 28. Nothing else mattered. Then suddenly you gotta wait, 32. Oh shit! But now you feel smarter though, because you're like, damn, this whole time, a QP and 8 is 32, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? But it's like nobody gave a shit back then. Gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
That was true.
You feel me? True. So it's a lot of little shit that like that's fascinating because of who's coming in control. But yes, I assist a lot of people because again, in the retail side, it's not just it's not manufacturing, it's not distribution. These things don't come with you having to even be a nice person. You could be in your laboratory all day making the bombest shit and mad dogging everybody. And nobody gives a damn because you're a scientist. You stay in your area.
That's it.
But when you got to socialize, that's what retail is about. You got to have social skills. It doesn't, you know what I mean? If you're going to be a mad scientist, go be a mad scientist, but do not come over here and push away my people.
Exactly.
Because you're a little too rigid. Right? So with retail just came a lot. That's why I say people is important. So you would what's important is creating a culture as well. Right? So let me talk my shit. The reason no matter where I went and no matter any store that I'm at is successful is because I build a culture. Right? It's almost like the movie 300. My homies laugh when I say this. It's like the movie 300 when Leonidas ran into the Arcadians or whatever, right? And Leonidas looks at the Arcadians and goes, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a potter. What do you do? I'm a blacksmith. What do you do? I'm a this, I'm a that, right? And then Leonidas looks at his people and goes, what do we do? And everybody grabs the spears or whatever. And they go, Harut. And every motherfucker said the same shit. Well, anywhere, any store I'm at, everybody sells weed. You understand what I'm saying? My whole squad is the same squad. I tailor it that way. I didn't, if you do music, go do music. You see, the thing is, cannabis today is just a basic retail. People come in with a passion for other things and come in to get a paycheck. Right? So how the hell is anything going to succeed when your workers ain't even that enthusiastic?
It's true.
But if you create a culture and an environment where all of us, this is what we do. Like when I used to go into places, that's what I'm saying. I go, what do you do when you leave work? Oh, I'm gonna go make beats. What do you do when you leave work? I'm gonna go create graphics. What do you do when you leave work? Oh, I'm into shoes and reselling shoes. What do you do when you leave work? Oh, I like to cook. What do I do when I leave work? I go sell weed again. So not only am I selling weed when I'm up in this motherfucker, I'm selling weed when I leave this motherfucker. So you think who gonna outsell me? When this is all I'm doing. So when you create a team that's all they do, bro, the hunger, we understand the passion and the hunger of eating here and eating out of here. You feel me?
And also you can feel that when you come into a place and you talk to someone and they really care.
Right? But most people are in there now, and they're looking at their phone and they're looking at a song that they just made and upload on Apple Music and see if they only got 10 people who bought their shit. And you know what I'm saying? And you're just like, you know what I mean? That's all fools is doing. Their minds is checked out. Their minds ain't checked in. So that's why a lot of retailers don't win, but it's a culture. You can't create a culture without the right coach. You feel me?
I agree.
As a consultant, that's what I teach. That's why I see when I'm places, I see when I'm there and people are making $20,000, $25,000 a day, 18, and I see when I leave and I'm still talking to my people and they're making $6,000, $7,000. There's a recipe. And I'm not saying I'm the only recipe. I'm saying that with my recipe comes success. And with my recipe, there's a psychology, there's a philosophy.
Yeah.
It's not just, you know, people think it's just no, it's the people, bro.
Yeah.
Because as much as I control my shops, I can make the hottest brand, the shittiest brand in my store.
Yeah.
And I can make the shittiest brand, the hottest brand in my store.
Absolutely.
I am in full control. I am the captain of my ship. I sail my boat. My crew goes where I want them to go.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And if you're that type of captain, believe me, you make shit happen.
Absolutely.
It's very easy. You know what I mean? Especially being proactive. That's the thing. If you got a captain that's not proactive, how can you get it done?
It's true.
If a captain ain't paying attention that I just placed this order right here, damn, this shit was 2 weeks ago. You know what? Fuck selling everything else. Prioritize this shit. Got to get it out of here. Don't want these fools calling me all day, bugging me for shit. Yo, let's put some energy because I got to recoup my money anyways. It could be stuck here, but it's going to be stuck here.
Yeah.
Yo, crew, let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. You make your incentives, you do whatever, but you're proactive. Some people do try to do that, but not often enough. It actually just needs to be done often. It's like a check-in daily. You have to monitor your inventory daily. You have to control your people daily.
Yeah.
You have to position your people daily.
Yeah.
It's a daily thing.
Yeah.
Some people want to do it. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. And they do their calendar and they're like, okay, it'll be this week. We'll focus on that. This week, nah, I don't work like that. It's an everyday thing.
That's smart as hell.
You understand what I'm saying?
And you know what? I used to work in a ski shop, and that guy who owned it, smart ass guy, similar to like pushing weed. If he had old product, he would put something called a PM on it, which means for us, we look in a book, we make more money for selling that.
Yeah.
It's because he wanted to give us incentives. Yo, get rid of this old product.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it worked.
And it works. It works. It
Yeah.
works. It works. And that's
Yeah.
the thing is that people don't have the right captains no more, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll be honest. When you really go into these places, it's almost like they just run themselves. It's
Yeah.
like you might as well at this point just put AI robots.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? Like at this point, retailers might as well just have AI robots because there's no humans that make a difference.
Yeah. I will say though, when I was here in 2017 and I did go into the medical dispensaries, different feeling.
Yeah.
Way different feeling
Yeah.
than it is now.
Yeah, because we had to educate you.
Yeah.
Like we were, and again, we were there. Another thing, again, cannabis has become Target, Walmart. It's not fascinating anymore, you know, for the regular worker.
Yeah.
Those of us who think business minded and, you know, consultants and whatever we want to do, but we're commission based or whatever. So we're thinking more sales and percentages of things.
It's too
Our
commercialized.
minds are a little different, right?
Yeah.
But for the average person that used to come into this game, it was life changing. And I used to love that. I used to love seeing my homegirl Erica, who came from nothing. I pick her up at the bus stop randomly. Pick her up at the bus stop. I'm like, yo, you need a job? Boom, boom. Come and work for you for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Got her car, got an apartment, got her this, got her that, bro.
It's a beautiful thing.
It was a beautiful thing back then. You saw people change their lives, bro. You don't see that shit no more.
It's true.
You understand?
It's tough.
Like it ain't like that.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yep.
it ain't. I don't care what nobody says. So you're going to have a different passion and enthusiasm when people's lives are being changed.
That's true.
You feel me? When you're going to work and you know you can go buy your new car next week, you know you can go get that purse you've been looking at, you know that they'll hold you down at work and you can finally go to Hawaii and you know you could do all that shit because you know you could do all that shit.
Yeah.
The money made a difference.
Yeah.
Now, bro, you might as well just go to 7-Eleven if they even allow you. You know what I mean? Or just go donut shop or whatever. Like that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
Tips aren't the same.
No.
You feel me? The tips will never be the same because like I was mentioning earlier, it's no longer the influx of people like that.
Yeah.
You know, like on average, let's just speak on average. On average, most of these stores are seeing no more than 100 people.
Yeah.
Let's just be real honest with you. And when you do that mathematically, you know, that's one of the things that would fascinate people back in the day when I'd go into a store. I just knew how much money you were making because you had to be in the game to know how much money somebody made.
Absolutely.
And my friends would be like shocked and they'd be like, oh shit, bro, fools fuck with you so quick. 'Cause it's not that. Everything in life is a formula. I'm not a fucking genius. It's just this is what I fucking do.
Yeah.
You feel me? I ain't no goddamn genius. But in this game, I might look like one
Absolutely.
because this is what I fucking do. And you can't question me in this shit.
That's
you
for
feel
damn
me?
sure.
And at the end of the day, you walk into a store, you be like, yo, how many people you see a day? And I'll be like, oh, I see 100 people a day or whatever. And you'd be like, okay, bet. On an average of what, 35? Yeah, you know what I mean? Because that's how much you would average back then.
Yeah.
Would be by the 35 number.
Okay.
Even when it was a 25 cap, you still do that 35 number.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, okay, $35,000 you're making or whatever, right? You would know what people were making. And
gauge it.
today's game, That's what the average is. It's like 100 people a day, and you average it by like $50 now, as opposed to 35.
Okay.
Like you average it by 50. So when you walk into any place and you know that formula, you're not shocked as to how much money they're making.
Of course.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Unless they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Unless they're just telling you they're seeing 100, but they're really seeing 200 because they don't want you to know how much money they're making.
Yeah.
Or if they're lying to you, telling you they're seeing 100, but they're only seeing 50.
Yeah.
Unless they're lying to you, you don't know what they're making.
Of course.
But it's very easy. The formula's been the same.
Yeah.
You just know what's your average item cost and how many people do you see a day. I already know how much you make a month. Absolutely. It's just that simple. Or whereabouts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like whereabouts you make. Yep. Right? So it's a different industry. It's a beautiful industry. It's just you got to move a little bit different, you know. But what I will say is, and that's the thing, you could still make your people win and eat that way. You just got to be a little more creative. It's not just gonna, like you just said, maybe us as owners have to incentivize more and do things like that. Potentially. Because you no longer could rely on just, like, I come from days where by myself, security guard, janitor, bud tender, administration, whatever other positions that there are, by myself, I'd see 1,000 people a day. Wow. By myself, I'd see 500 people a day. By myself, I'd see 700 people a day. Yeah. By myself. It's crazy. It's crazy numbers. You must have been a busy man. Nobody. Yeah, and that's the same. People won't see that no more. Yeah. They don't know what that feels like. Yeah. So you have to understand what kind of interaction and what kind of person and what pace you had to learn to move in. You had to know how to say things properly, fast, educate, convince, get out. Because I got 999 other motherfuckers to see today. Yeah. I don't have time to just have a 20-minute conversation. Absolutely. With each individual. Yeah. So I almost taught my people that we got to be done in 2 minutes, but properly. Yeah. And my people were all on point with that. We would time our people because that's how many people you would see. So if I had one other person or 2 other people with me at times when finally we could, you would just time them. Yeah. You'd be like, look, it's 2 minutes per person. Anything longer than that, and you're overdoing it. We're clogging up the place. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And fools would be on point. Oh, hi. And you could be very polite and very nice and very on point in 2 minutes. Yeah. If you're conscious of those 2 minutes. It's true. You know what I mean? And that's how you get your people. But until you've seen that many people, you don't even know the power of getting people in and out properly. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a whole nother tactic. Yeah. It's how fast do I get you in and get somebody else in? Turnaround time is the turnaround time. Yeah, it makes a difference. But really, not to ramble, but I think stores just need to work on that part, bro. It's just being a lot more proactive because it's everybody got the same thing. Everybody has the same thing. Yeah. You know, we all have the same products on our shelves, being sourced damn near from the same people. Like when you're really in the game and you really understand it, it's like it's all connected. It's all connected. Yeah. You know, it's just who do you like more, right? And what packaging looks nicer, or what marketing got you? Who's behind it? Oh, who did they partner with? I mean, there's all these other little things that it's branding now. Yeah. Right. But at the end of the day, for the retailer, they got to work harder with their staff. Staff has to really want to be there, but there has to be a leader. Yeah. Like somebody always has to be a leader. It can't be a free-for-all. And in a lot of these places, it becomes a free-for-all. And the main leader is usually the owner, but they're too disconnected these days. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people who owned back in the day, at least, owners were on the floor. Owners are grinding. They were involved. Owners were involved. Yeah. Now owners aren't really that involved, so they don't really see what's going on. There's no oversight. Yeah. And they don't have, which is, shout out to my dog. I'm just going to say it. My dog off the charts and everybody over there. I got to shout out my dog, Norm. Yo, Norm, I'm going to shout you out real quick just because. You know what I'm saying? But like folks like my dog, you know, I worked side to side with Norm, and I've seen my boy Norm mentality. And I get along with people like my boy Norm and my boy Sod, you know what I mean? Cake House and Off the Charts and folks like that. I get along with these people because they have a lot of the same philosophies and mentalities. They don't have to speak it. They show it. Yeah. I'm here to speak it. I try to tell people who try to expand a little too fast sometimes. Fresh and Easy, learn from Fresh and Easy. You saw them motherfuckers expanding, they went down. But some people like him were smart enough to create the culture. They were in Vista. He was able to create this culture. He was able to create a team that believed in his philosophy, believed in his system, believed in it. So when it came time to expand, you were able to place an individual who knows your shit, is diehard for your shit, believes in your shit. So when you place them there, that's the leader.
Yeah.
Everybody else follows. And if I create 10 humans that way, I get 10 stores. I should have 10 stores with the same identical philosophy because I created 10 people like me.
Absolutely.
To hold it down.
Yeah.
The problem is everybody expands without even having one person like them who could run the business. And unfortunately, most of these owners couldn't even run it themselves.
Yeah.
So how could they do it, right? So to mold people and create people like yourself and you want to expand, you need that leader. And when you see some people doing very well, you watch how they move. They implant people. They implant them. They implant because another thing is, if I have a good business model, I need somebody to secure my business. So I need the person who understands my strategy, my philosophy, and everything that I do the best. I can't just leave it up to, which is why same friends and same people, when they've tried that method, their investments go to shit.
Yeah.
Their investments go to shit because you then give you give the power over to this other people and you say, you guys go ahead and do it, even though you should do it how I do it. And then their investment go to shit. And then they have to implant somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very true.
So shout out to those people. I got to give them their props because I've just seen them grow. I mean, you know, I've seen how they move, and I respect it because it's something that I did for California Cannabis when I met Aaron, and he came with the business card. Till today, one of the creepiest business cards I've ever seen in my life. But it was so funny because he was relentless with it. It was like $100 bill, like Benjamin Franklin or something.
Yeah.
But it was him, and it was the fact that it was still bald. You feel me? Like it still had like the Benjamin Franklin like baldness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're like, God, that was the creepy part. Because you're like, this motherfucker kind of look like Benjamin Franklin. Like this shit is crazy.
That's funny.
And it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Because marketing, tell you about it. You know when somebody doing it, when a lot of the shit's on the streets.
Yeah.
Because you know that was one of Red Bull's business marketing strategies. Like make sure our cans are everywhere on the streets.
Absolutely.
Make sure people see the trash everywhere.
Yeah.
You knew shit was, my boy was moving because anywhere you went, it's just, damn, like, oh my God. Oh my God, this shit, somebody threw it over there.
And
this
that's
guy's
just kind of
everywhere.
smart too, because if you see $100 bill, you might just go try to pick it up.
That's
you know?
another thing, right? So you see it and you're like, what the hell is it? But it was everywhere, so good job. You know
Shout out to Aaron for that one.
Shout out to Aaron. You got my attention, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
But even with the California Cannabis is when I made those stores successful, it was that. It was, we centralized a place where I try to treat it like military, right? Before military sends you to war, isn't there like a camp that you go to?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, out here we got like Camp Pendleton and things like that, boot camp, right? So I think it's the same type of philosophy, right? It's like you should start somewhere and have it be your boot camp.
I agree.
And really truly train. So when you send your troops,
They're
ready for war.
Yeah.
You know, but we don't go that way. So with California Cannabis, that was something that I had done. Our Melrose location where I met Aaron became like the hub where it was the most successful one because I was there and I was busting my ass every single day, rebuilding it. Mm-hmm. Took it from a $700 a day store to an $18,000 a day store, right? In the matter of like a year and a half.
God bless.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was all my efforts.
Yeah.
Just because it was, again, everything I'm talking about. Anything I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about it. I did this shit and I do this shit. Like, I know what I do. You know what I mean? And then what you do is the employees came there to learn what's going on. You know, like, how is it happening? Well, it's customer service. It's pricing. It's the products that I'm choosing. Because at that time, each store, there was 3 stores, but at that time, different products were in different stores. So it was my product acquiring. Just a lot of little things like that made a difference. So when you send people, they got to really work with me hand in hand. And I'm not one of those people that if you do work with me at a retail, I'm not a gatekeeper. And I think that's another failure that I have to tell you guys in retail. You guys fail because you don't empower your people. You don't empower your people and you don't teach your people how to do the same shit. Yeah. There's always one person in a retail who wants to be the motherfucking gatekeeper. Yeah. And by being the gatekeeper, when that person gets sick and when something happens to that person, there's no one else who can do their job. And it's because that person wanted to feel so special that they didn't want nobody else to supposedly be able to take their position, that they didn't allow the rest of their team to be as knowledgeable and as effective. People like me don't play that.
That shit is so lame.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I want you to be better than me.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like I don't. That's my whole goal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Deion Sanders seeing his sons and seeing these fools winning. Like I just want to see fools win. I'm a coach. Like let's go. I don't care. I don't care if I caught 100 balls a season and you caught 200 and beat my record. I don't good.
And if you're confident in your shit anyway, you're not going to gatekeep.
The
only people that gatekeep are scared you're going to take their shit.
Scared to take their shit.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yep.
So when you're in these retail positions, it's a lot of gatekeeping that kind of holds back the entire group from being able to be effective.
Yeah.
If you're really in retail, you see that. You see that when the important person is absent for a reason, discombobulation.
Absolutely.
Discombobulation.
That's terrible.
And then there's a lot of people eager to want to learn, eager to want to be taught these things, and they don't want to teach them.
Yeah.
Right? So my whole thing was with those stores was tutelage.
Yeah.
Really teaching people everything that I knew. Really teaching people everything. Pricing, this, that. Doesn't matter. Quality. Where it's coming from, how much bulk prices really are, and all that.
Yeah.
I just like to empower my people. So when they went somewhere else, they did what Norm and his team did. I was able to send somebody to Crenshaw now. That person that saw a store that's making 12,000, saw the rise, 12,000, 14, 15,000. Now they understand how you got to maneuver to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you move on. Then Soto started going crazy because what happens is we got our boot camp. We sent the people to the camp, taught them how to shoot, taught them how to strap on their boots, taught them how to do this, taught them how to do that, the way we need them to do it.
Yep.
Sent them to Afghanistan, sent them to Iraq. You know what I mean? Sent them to Vietnam.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Sent them to, not Ukraine, but sent them wherever else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's people been sent. You know what I mean? But we sending folks.
Yeah.
And that's how you do in retail.
Yeah.
You send your folks when you
it.
want to expand and have a successful expansion.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? But even as a singular store, everyone needs to be able to do the same thing. That's why the philosophy from Leonidas is so important.
Yeah.
Because when your whole crew is like that, and then your whole crew is like that, imagine you probably all are making more money together anyways.
Absolutely.
That make any sense?
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes it more exciting.
It's true.
Because we're doing the retail thing. But if we're all this passionate, then obviously, you know, we're probably working together in other ways as well.
For sure.
You know, to really be more fruitful.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But that would be it. Again, it's not nothing scientific, what I say. There's no, other people will tell you everything else they want to tell you.
Yeah.
But other people haven't worked in a store as long as me.
Yeah.
Like continuously. I joke around and I say that McDonald's says over 1 billion served. And when I do my mathematics, I'm like over 3 million served.
Yeah.
In terms of transactions and humans that I had to see throughout this entire time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I say what I say. It's a people thing. Nothing else makes it any more special.
Yeah.
You know, but it's who's there.
It's true.
You feel me? And that's another thing I say. I like to empower my people by letting them know, become a rock star. Become an all-star.
Yeah.
Again, life is about philosophies.
Yeah.
If you play football, you play basketball, your coach might be talking to you like this, and you're like, damn, coach, not once did you tell me about catching the ball, though.
Yeah.
No, because I'm trying to train your brain to
Yeah.
think a certain way.
Absolutely.
And one of the important things I tell my staff was, if let's say I'm at a concert, I'm the main act, I'm Drake or whatever, right? We have 10,000 people in attendance. 5,000 of those people came to see me. The ticket sales are because of me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm Drake. 5,000 came because of me. But you think I wasn't able to fill that whole stadium by myself, though.
Yeah.
You feel me? I had 4 other acts before me. And each of those acts brought in an additional 1,000 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so let me say I did 6. Because if I'm bringing in 4 more, then they'd have to just do, let's say, 1,000 in attendance, right?
Yep.
So I brought in 6,000 people. But it's a 10,000 capacity place. So do I give myself the whole credit for that 10,000? Or did I need other superstars
Yeah.
to come and bring their 1,000 people?
Yeah.
So when my bud tenders and my people are all superstars, we fill up the motherfucking stadium.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Absolutely.
Because I already know I'm a superstar. I already know I'm bringing in mad people when I go somewhere. So when I get the same personalities, we're filling up the stadium.
Yeah.
That's why it's a philosophy. When your people move great, they feel great, they act great, they're respect. That's why when you see Gorilla, when you came to Gorilla, each of those people were shining individually as people.
Yeah.
They felt good, they received you good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the all-stars. You feel me? I'm Drake. you're Future, you're this, you're Rick, you're whoever you want to be. But without all of us, we weren't filling the stadium.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So the number one thing is making your bud tenders feel like superstars and making them superstars, because people come back for people.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
People
That's
like
why when
people.
you see when one employee gets fired, out of nowhere, you don't see these specific 50 people no more.
Yeah.
You don't see them no more. And you thought that dude had no value? He had value. That was 50 people a day that came only for that motherfucker right there.
Yeah.
You feel me? 10 people a day that were only coming in for them. And if you don't see that in your people, that's where you're screwed too.
Yeah. It's true.
You feel me? If you don't see that Aaron brings in 20 a day, my dog right here brings in 30 a day, Steve brings in, you know what I mean? I bring in. If you don't see that, that's the value in your employees, man, is when you could watch your employees and be like, I don't even care if he's an asshole. You know why? Because assholes like that asshole.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
What the hell?
You gotta have
You have
someone
to
for
have
everyone.
different personality traits.
Exactly.
You can't be sitting here crying, he's a little too. Well, that's why 20 of those motherfuckers like him, though.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
But those 20 people love the fact that he's rude.
Those are his people.
Those are his people.
Yeah. Yep.
That's his people, and those are 20 people that keep buying from us.
Absolutely.
So how about we just keep them there, and rude people shop from rude people?
Yep.
But that's rude people bringing me business.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yep.
So it's like, that's how you, it's deeper than that.
It's a good way to look at it.
You understand what I'm saying? That's why it's very philosophical, the retail side of things.
Absolutely.
It's not manufacturing, distribution, cultivation. It's just kind of like, okay, I produce this much, you price it.
It's not black and white.
It's this much,
Yeah.
this much, give it.
Absolutely.
Gonna yield this much, give it.
Yep.
Produce this many liters, this much, give it.
Yeah.
It's just the same shit.
Yeah.
Retail comes with interaction, man.
Yeah.
Comes with real psychology, man.
Absolutely.
You feel me? It don't come with just, I'm gonna do this, do that, here you go.
Yeah.
Do this, here you go. No. So that's why it's important to know your team and have superstars and value each person's trait.
Yeah.
If you're an asshole, let you be an asshole. Just come to work on time. You know, don't disrespect the people you're not supposed to disrespect.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But if that's how you move, you don't say good morning when I say good morning, well, fuck it then.
Yeah.
I've learned at this point, I just don't say good morning to you no more.
There you go.
You know? But you're still valuable. I see when I'm watching you interact, and I'm seeing these people like him, though.
Yeah.
They're loyal to him, though. I got to keep the guy.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as he does everything else that you're supposed to do, and you're not one of them business owners, it's all about ego and recognize me, and I got to be recognized and all this other nonsense, because everybody just, see, cannabis turned into a show. It's a big show. Everybody want popularity. It's like the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And everybody want, hey, look at my face on a billboard, look at my face on this, look at my face on that. Great.
Yeah.
Your business probably ain't doing too well. We can all pay for a billboard. I don't even need a business to go pay for a billboard.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could go pay for a billboard for my daughter right now. She ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check out me just cause. I just want you to.
You
You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? Like what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It's all this, you know. So, but running a business is running a business.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to teach your people, and that philosophy is very important.
Absolutely.
So, superstars, create superstars, value your people, Don't think. And another thing I hate is when people go, "Do you have any experience in cannabis?" When I started, there was never no goddamn experience in cannabis. There was life experience and human experience.
Yeah.
I love people who have no experience in cannabis, because I feel like they're not gonna get the proper information from anybody better than me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pollute you. I'm gonna give you the game for real. I'm gonna give you game that dude don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you for real.
Yeah.
I like a clean slate. I don't want you to come with experience. When you go to a boot camp in the military, do you already come with experience knowing how to be a sniper?
Definitely not.
Do you already know what experience knowing how to dismantle mines?
No.
Do you already come with experience knowing how to fly a F-16?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Somebody had to teach you, right? So the problem with cannabis is everybody want people to be experienced already. Everybody want people to already know some shit.
Yeah.
And that's because the motherfuckers asking don't know some shit.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yep.
The people asking don't know shit.
Yeah.
So they need the people coming in to know shit. When you know shit, I want all my students. I want my 18s. I want everybody just coming out of just like the military does. I want all my students. You don't know shit good.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to teach the shit out of you.
Absolutely.
Motherfuckers don't teach nobody nothing. That's why they're always asking what experience you got. Because the dude asking you what experience you got, ask him what experience they got.
Yeah. It's true.
And they gonna be like, oh, I mean, I happen to just come into a license and
Yep.
you don't know shit, dog.
Yeah. Speaking of the education of it,
You feel me?
you want to just get into a little bit of like the social equity side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just touch on that, just how you help people get licenses in that, and how did that change the game a little bit as well?
Yes. Okay, so just so everybody's aware, 2019 was the first round of the social equity licenses that were given out for like the first 100 people. Then in 2022, we did another round. The social equity program, there had been some changes. But in the beginning, the social equity program, my big bro, Virgil Grant, he had a lot to do with writing the law Measure M. So what social equity is supposed to do is empower minorities in the industry and allow them to have a piece of the pie, right? So social equity was a way that if you were from a underprivileged like area, you were low income, or you've been arrested or gone to jail or whatever due to cannabis, it was a way for you to have a license again. Because Measure M was a way to basically bring down felonies to misdemeanors, right? So that way people had an opportunity to get in the game, because if you had a felony, you couldn't. So when social equity came in, it was to give all of those in these regions the opportunity to get a license, basically.
Yeah.
Right? But like anything else, it was infiltrated. You know what I mean? Because it is, and it just didn't go the way people thought. But on the positive note, at that time, let's say 2025, they're doing SEIA again, is what they call it. It's the SEIA. I just had a meeting with DCR and webinars and all kinds of stuff. This year, they're doing it again. So if anybody's listening to this podcast, I would go onto the DCR website and I would type in SEIA, and I would see, because they're doing a lottery again. If you already entered into the lottery in 2019 and 2022 and you did not win, they will automatically roll you over into this new lottery, right? But I would still be proactive and make sure that in your file it shows that you were approved to be in the lottery, because the DCR and entities like this, you can't leave it up to them. Like, you have to be so proactive and on top of your own shit, right? So with that being said, the social equity program was a way basically to get minorities to get into the industry, get retails, get cultivations, get manufacturings and things like that. It's a catch-22 to it, unfortunately, because there was no pool of money and there was no actual financing there for those people.
Yeah.
Most of those people that came from social equity literally just didn't have any financial backing. So it really hurt them in a way.
Yeah.
It allowed them to get licenses, but it also allowed other people to buy them out. Or I wouldn't even say buy them out, but buy into them and pretty much just squeeze them.
Yeah.
Because there's no capital for them.
Absolutely.
The city of Los Angeles didn't do a very good job, let's just say, saying for social equity people, this department has $20 million of funds to allocate to some of you X amount, a $250,000 to you, a $250,000 to you, a $250,000 to you, a $250,000 to you, whatever it is, 100 to you. They didn't have that.
Yeah.
So it was very rare for anybody in the minority side of things that got social equity to actually have a successful social equity, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So they did have to get outside investors, and that's where everything got a little bit hazy.
Yeah.
It's because of all those politics. I understand both sides. I'll be honest. I understand the social equity people side, and I understand the investor side. That's why I don't really pick a side.
Yeah.
I'm just stating what's happening.
Absolutely.
I understand my investors and why they did what they did. It's business. But I understand the pain that it caused the social equity people, because it hurts knowing that you're like, damn, I think I had a chance, but I really don't.
Yeah.
But the social equity program, if you do have capital, I would say give it a shot anyways. Not everybody's a dirtbag. Not every investor's an ass. Apply if you're from low income and arrests, because no longer for 2025 is the like underfunded areas, like let's say like just any city or anywhere that is shown that the income is very low. That doesn't matter anymore. It's just personal income, and you have to have arrests. Social equity is great, though, I think, in certain ways, if it really does take off. But it also created a lot more stores. that's basically what I would say, man. Like, I think social equity is awesome. I think the idea of it is awesome. I just think the implementation just needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
Because there's too many holes for other people that didn't really need social equity to be able to take advantage of it.
So do you think that this time around it'll be rolled out a little bit better? They can work out a little bit more of the kinks? I know you also said that down in San Diego, they usually catch up to the wave, so they'll probably be on this wave of it?
Yes.
Okay.
San Diego will be on this wave. I do know. I was talking to my bro, Virgil Grant, and he's over there helping out with the social equity stuff. He's also teaching classes like once a month at one of the universities. So, yeah, San Diego is going to be rolling out the social equity program. I sure hope they do a better job. I know Oakland did a better job. Oakland did a better job.
Shout out to Oakland.
Yeah, Oakland did a better job, and they did it before us.
Okay.
And they did a better job. And LA is just LA.
What are you going to do?
You know what I mean? Like, we kind of...
They know what to do, but they don't.
But they don't at the same time, you know. They don't know what to do, you know. And I think San Diego is going to be a little bit more effective. I feel like their commission and their councils are going to play the game a little bit better than the LA ones.
Good.
Yeah. But social equity is awesome, man. More power to the social equity people. Myself, I'm also a social equity applicant. I haven't won any lotteries or anything like that, but I'm an applicant. Why not? You know, I deserve it. Anybody else who's been arrested, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, if you've been arrested, you deserve it. If you're low income and a minority, you deserve it. Try it. Like, see, if you don't have the money for it, it's a way to give you something. But then you have to be savvy and go get the money. And go get the right money. Yeah. You know? And I think if it's done right, everyone could be effective, you know? But unfortunately, the 2019 and 2022 examples, they were the guinea pigs.
Okay.
So you had to witness the bullshit before now you see it ironing out the kinks, you know?
Well, hopefully this time around it could be.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I sure hope so, you know?
Absolutely.
And the other thing is that they leave you in the LA County area. So that's why some of those areas got real congested is because of who they issue and where they issue the licenses. So, yeah, I mean, I think social equity is honestly, it's necessary.
Yeah.
You know, I came before social equity, and at the end of the day, it's really just putting money together. It doesn't matter. You know, you could buy something outright. But for some people, you know, that's the way to go, and that's the way to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have nothing negative to say about social equity. And the positives is the opportunity that it's giving. The negatives is just the lack of education that the people who get the licenses have. So that's why they get screwed.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's just, that's all it is. It's like, if you got like a person like me, if I won a lottery, it's like 2-3 phone calls and I know how I can make my shit happen.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people never been in the industry, don't have no relationships, don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So they come in literally with no experience. So it's easy to just kind of like, you know, get finessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I sometimes feel like that's why they give it to certain individuals. I almost feel like the department knows who to give it to and whose hands not to give it to, because there's certain people who are in the same position as myself that could get the social equity things and we do better with it.
Yeah.
But they give it to all the people who literally have. That's why I come and join those type of people.
Yeah.
You know, I come and help my people out.
Yeah.
For that reason. To educate them, to let them know, like, no, like, it's not just all about the money.
Yeah.
You know, meaning not all about the money, meaning like it's not just all about the investment. Like me and Aaron were saying, you don't have to go so big either. You know, you can get yourself a smaller square footage. Like, for social equity people, that's one thing I would love to tell you guys. Like, don't worry about these large establishments. Get yourself a smaller establishment. Have good relationships, you know. If you could buy your product outright, buy your product outright. But if not, there's people that will work with you, especially if you're a good person. Pay your invoices on time and people will fuck with you even heavier, you know? Like, literally, if you just play right.
Yeah, you could do well.
You could do well. You know what I'm saying? But some people just, they just don't know what they're doing.
Hey.
I hate to say it. That's just all it is.
And that's everywhere, though, you know?
That's everywhere, bro. And the ones that know what they're doing, believe me, you see them everywhere. They're like a 7-Eleven now.
They're doing well.
You know what I mean?
But I want to get back into you a little bit. So with your brand and just the moves that you're making, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What's your plan?
In the next 5 years, that's very interesting. In the next 5 years, where do I see myself? I'm 42, man.
God bless.
Thanks, bro. Next 5 years, I see myself alive for my kids, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Like it's cannabis related. there's a lot of things in the works. Like right now, I have a Minnesota license a lottery that I'm about to enter.
Okay.
I was entered into the New York lottery. Again, in the next 5 years, I'm one of those people that I just follow cannabis. So I couldn't even tell you because I just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like meaning like, yeah, I could tell you, okay, I'm gonna open up this establishment, make it this successful, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But I'm always just watching the markets like New York, Kentucky, Missouri, Minnesota. I'm like watching where other people are opening up licenses. And for me, I've been doing this for so long that I like the consultation role because I really am just at the point where I like to educate.
Yeah.
Everything is for some people. Some people want a brand. Some people want to do this. I just like to educate, get my percentages of that, get my percentage of the gross or, with that.
Yeah.
And move on. Like they say, some people hustle to be seen. Some people hustle to disappear.
Yep.
I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy.
Okay. I
do a lot behind the scenes. I have a very large network behind the scenes, but that's kind of like how I like it. So with my consultation company, it keeps me that way. I could launch a brand and I could do all these other things, but my personality and where I'm at in life and how long I've been doing this, just even my energy level works best with consultation.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for me and where I'm at, know, and I feel like I make a difference that way.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I feel like I make a difference.
Well, we do need people to educate too. So there's a spot for everyone.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And after a while, and this is another thing, y'all, I started consulting for one reason and one reason only. Is because when you start to see that you're the reason why you could bring up a company from $700 a day to $18,000, or you could bring a company from $12,000 a day to $25,000, $30,000. When you can do all these things, and it's your effort, and that they got you at $20 and $19 an hour, if you don't realize your value by then, then you're fucking yourself with any money that you're accepting.
It's true.
So with the consultation thing, it just became no one can have me anymore. Because I know what I bring to the table, and I know how much money I help you make. So I need my percentage of that.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's the only way I work these days.
Good.
Because I've already done too much.
Absolutely.
I've already made people make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And one thing, and this is a serious combo for anybody in the game who's very knowledgeable and is still feeling devalued and is working somewhere because you're like, oh man, they're paying me $19, $20, but I do this, I do that. I bring in this people, I do. Yes, bro. Yes, girl, whoever you are, start to realize your value, because at the end of the day, without you, like some of these people really ain't making bread. And some of us finally have to step back and say, you know what? There's no way that I got you a $20,000 increase and I didn't even get a bonus for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I get it if you're just a regular person, but if you're really the one that's hiring people, you're the one with the strategies, you're buying the product, you're doing that, you're coaching people along the way, you're bud tender training every day. Like, dude, you're a little bit more valuable than $20 an hour.
I would say so.
You know what I'm saying? So people in those type of positions have to kind of see that again. So for me, I've just done too much for too many people and made them a lot of bread. I've made my bread, but now I have to have a piece of their bread.
Absolutely.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because their bread has to do with my efforts as well.
Absolutely.
So that's just kind of like where I'm at with. That's why I like consultation. Like it's no different than also becoming a management company. I try not to go that route, but I have other friends that try to go that route where they're like, they come in, do consultation, and also become like a management company. I don't really need all that. I don't really want to feel all that. I just want to make sure I come in with my strategies, everything I teach you to do, the culture that I create. And when you see your appreciation, just give me my cut, man. And I'm off and I'm gone with the win. Because again, the number one question you asked me in the beginning was what got me into it or whatever. I've been doing too many different things in life to just be doing cannabis.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, as much as I do cannabis, I have a life that's filled with a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Absolutely.
So I can never and never will just dedicate myself to only cannabis.
Of course.
Make any sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Even though I've dedicated my life to cannabis longer and harder than 90% of the people out there.
Yeah.
So listen, I've dedicated my life and my time in cannabis longer and harder than 90% of people out there, but I still live and enjoy life 90% of other things.
God bless.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not about this shit only.
It's a beautiful thing.
You feel me? So this is what I do. This is how I come. I help. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. We get money. But if I need to go do other things, I go do other things.
Yeah.
That's just how I live my life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And to each their own.
Yeah.
But that's how I've been living.
God bless.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I love the cannabis. I will always love the cannabis. It's my thing. But you gotta know how to have other outlets in life.
That's for damn sure.
You feel me?
That's
So like how you said, yes, it's been part of my journey. So what do? I consult and I go enjoy life. Teach my kids how to enjoy life. Just enjoy life, bro.
God bless.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to enjoy life no matter how much money you're making. That's another thing. Some people know how to make money and don't know how to spend it.
It's true.
And some people know how to spend it and don't know how to make it. There's a philosophy in that too. You can have a dude that makes $1 million, don't know how to spend his $1 million.
Yeah.
And you got a dude that made $1 million in 1 hour. That shit is gone.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just cause. So, you got to know how to live life, man. But the cannabis thing, again, I'm diehard. Again, I've been doing this forever. I still do it. I'm still involved. I help my distros, my manufacturer. I love it. But I don't forget to check out and be me.
Absolutely.
That's why sometimes you don't see me too much at the events. Often. Yeah. As much as I know people, I'm not at that so much, because another secret. Let me tell y'all another secret. It's philosophy. Something that's very interesting is when you live life and you do other things, whether your friends are golfers, boxers, real estate agents, fucking oil people, whatever, because that's what's dope about life. When you just live life, you have a plethora of friends that just do everything else in life.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And when you have a plethora of friends that do everything else in life, it's always cool when outside your life, you live your life and you go to your interest and hobbies and don't just try to get stuck in what everybody else says is the coolest thing to do, because it's awesome when you're that one person that does that one thing at your table.
Yeah.
When you walk into a cannabis room, there's 12 people and all 12 of us sell the same shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck makes me any different than you?
Yeah.
What makes this room any special right now?
Yeah.
You got the same price, you got the same product, you got the same thing I got.
Yep.
You know the same buyer, you know the same store, you know the same people.
Yeah.
Right? But when your homie's a plumber, your homie's a contractor, your homie's HVAC, your homie owns a cell phone company, your homie owns a travel agency, your homie's a real estate agent, your homie's some trust fund baby that does God knows what.
Yep.
Your other homie has a concierge service. Your other homie owns hotels. Your other homie, when you have so many different friends, you have so many friends that do so many things.
Yeah.
It's cool when you're in those tables and you're the only homie that does weed.
Of course.
Because then that means the rest of your homies look at you as the source.
Yep. You're the weed guy.
But when you're in a table full of 20 people that all do weed, you're all the source.
Yeah.
Nothing gets done.
Yep.
It becomes one big cancellation.
I agree.
It becomes one big cancellation because everybody got the same shit. Everybody's flexing. Everybody's one-upping each other.
Yeah.
And one person said, I get it for $1,000. The other person gets it, technically gets it for 900. He says 1,000. But when the other fool says, well, I get it for 9, he goes, well, I can get it for 9 too. You can get it for 9 the whole time. Yeah. You just didn't want to say it. So it's like, it just becomes this one, boom.
Yeah.
But when you're in a network of diverse network, each individual's that network's expert.
That's for damn sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I go to you for my plumbing. I go to you for this. I go to you for that. I go to you because you're my expert in my network.
Yeah.
So it allows you to be the expert in your network.
For sure.
As opposed to just constantly wanting to be part of the network.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that network alone, where does it go sometimes?
That's for damn sure. But man, I would love to sit here and talk to you about this all day. And honestly, I learned a ton. So I'm sure the people watching did learn a ton as well.
Okay, good.
But where can the people find you?
Marco A18OG. You know what I'm saying? Instagram. You know, that's where you're going to see me. Buds of Anarchy. I had that up and running, but I'm revamping the webpage and everything. So you'll see that up and running. But Marco A18OG, you'll see me on there. You know, I'm very open. I show everything that I do. And again, mention my name. You know, I'm involved with a lot of people behind the scenes. You might not see my name plastered all over the place, but like Jim Jones said one time, this is what I say, and I'm gonna leave it at that. You may not know me, but the people you want to know me.
Hey, okay. Well, we appreciate you coming out. Thank you for your time and energy. Subscribe, like, comment, share. This is the Green Rush Nation podcast, and we're out. We'll see you next time.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green because it hit so clean. hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5, shit, get up and leave.